Hello everybody, this is Damini Tiwari here from R.A.College of Arts and Commerce in Ahmadabad. So I'm a second year student and my subjects are economics and psychology, but my also interested subject is English. So this video has a sole purpose of me talking about my exchange program which was in Vietnam. I went via ISEC. It is a non-profitable organization which was built after the Second World War. I went via them. So let's start talking about what is Vietnam exactly. So Vietnam has a history with China and they were in a war condition few years back, but right now Vietnam is in a developing country. It is an underdeveloped country while they are struggling really hard to become one of the most developed countries of this world and to compete with them. Let's talk about my project. So my project was Youth Gets Role, in which I was supposed to teach English to the students of Ton Duc University so that they can get a better opportunities in the work culture, because the only issue over there is that the local people of Vietnam only speak the language Vietnamese. They do not know any other language for communication. So yes, so that was my sole purpose for which I went there, and I went there as a faculty. Other than that, let's talk about the food in Vietnam. So the food in Vietnam is basically all about seafood. If you're a person who loves non-vegetarian food or who's a person who loves seafood, guys, that is the country for you people. You as a student should visit that country because the cultural exposure is really amazing. And for me, I had hard time struggling with my food because I'm a vegetarian, so I had to survive in cup noodles, or I also carried my food bag, so like I used to eat them. Milks and eggs were my other options for that. Other than that, let's talk about street food. Street food is really amazing, guys. You find it everywhere, okay? And it's like restaurants, chains of cafes. Vietnam is famous for cafes. There's an entire building which is like 7-story building where each and every shop is a cafe. It is so beautiful. You must visit it. Let's talk about the weather conditions because that is the most important part. I'm an Indian and I live in Ahmadabad. So like over here, the seasons are very separate from each other like throughout the year. Although global warming has led to certain problems, but they're still different. Other than that, Vietnam has like 3 to 4 weather experiences within a day. So it's really humid and hot in the daytime. Then as soon as it's 4:30, it will start raining, and by the evening it is again cold, and it can rain any moment. The storms can happen any moment. I was in the main city Ho Chi Minh towards the south of Vietnam. So like I used to experience 3 to 4 weathers within a day. Yes, so this is the weather condition. So if you are going to Vietnam, do not forget to carry your umbrellas and your raincoats. So yes, let's talk about convenience stores. So basically there are convenience stores all over Vietnam, but like if you want to buy anything, you need to go to a convenience store. Like you can buy things from the local streets, but you can't trust the vendors at all, so you can go there. Other than that, let's talk about shopping the local things. So Vietnam has lot of local things. Vietnam is famous for their coffee, Vietnam is famous for their teas, and Vietnamese are very famous for their fashion. So basically everything you see is most of the times is assembled in Vietnam. So let's talk about Nike. Nike is made in Vietnam. A lot of products of Nike are made in Vietnam. So if you're a person who loves stationery or shopping, Vietnam is the place. You can shop as much as you want, and it is not that it's all expensive. Vietnam, like 1 Indian rupee is 366 Vietnamese currency, although they talk in higher digits, but the expenditure is almost the same. Other than that, there is a Ben Thanh market, which is a day market and a night market too, where you find right away from fruits to clothes to baggage to decorative materials to everything you can find in Ben Thanh market. Local food, coffee, different type of coffees which are made in Vietnam, everything you can find there. So yes, you should visit Ben Thanh market. Then there is Pink Church, so the entire church is pink. And then there is the Saigon Central Post Office. Saigon Central Post Office, oh god, I jumped into traveling, but it is fun. Vietnam is a place, if you are visiting to Vietnam and you are not traveling to and fro on the weekends after your project, like while working on the project, then guys, you are missing on life. So yes, do not forget to travel Vietnam. So there is the Saigon Central Post Office which I was talking about. The most fascinating part is that they have amazing postcards with them. And the best part about is that you can post to any corner of the world via that postcard, and that is the best thing. I mean, I can send a letter to Canada, I can send a letter to my parents in India, I can send a letter to my friend who's studying in Germany, and the letter will reach within few days, and it is assured, and you can write anything you want in that letter. And for somebody who loves poetry, somebody who loves languages and something like that, this old school vibe of writing letters is the best thing. So you should visit Saigon, because there is the Saigon Central Post Office has a lot of things within it. It is a touristy place, guys, so if you visit there, you will find everything over there, especially fine jewelry. Oh god, fine jewelry, girls, you need to visit that. It's amazing. So overall, let's talk about the weather is done, the food is done, the traveling is done. Traveling, you can go to the nearby provinces and places too. For example, Muine was a place which I visited within the time period I had, and over there there are red sand dunes, white sand dunes, oceans, beaches, everything to travel on, and it's really super amazing, budget fitting. Can you imagine my weekend trip from Saturday to, like, you know, a Saturday Sunday trip, including my living, my hostel accommodation for 2 days, and my transportation, everything costed me around 2000 rupees in Indian currency. And traveling to so much is so amazing. There are fairy lakes and everything which can connect you to the nature and make you think upon your writing skills. So yes, somebody who loves literature, Vietnam is the place. Okay guys, one thing which you need to really be careful about is the traffic in Vietnam. So there is a lot of population in Vietnam, and people over there just travel very to and fro. So and they do not use public transport much. They just use two vehicles, and the two vehicles are very sleek. So the traffic is really dangerous. So if you go, make sure you do not forget to get a Grab. Grab is a kind of an application which we use in India, like Ola and Uber. So yes, it is very nice and it's really amazing. But you should also be very careful about robberies. Okay, yes, robberies is one thing which happens, like snatching and everything, which happens in Vietnam a lot. So you need to be very careful about that if you're traveling to that country. Other than that, one more street I forgot to mention, which is the Bui Vien Street, which is like the heart of Ho Chi Minh City. Bui Vien Street is the best street you can visit to. It's like you'll find everything. Like Vietnam is a place where you find everything anywhere, anytime. It's kind of a thing. Like until unless you're a part of a province, provinces are little rural areas and where you really do not find good access to things and everything, but still the localites are so amazing that they will help you with everything. So yes, so Bui Vien is one of the most happening streets at night. You can visit that too. Let's talk about the people in Vietnam. So people in Vietnam are super fascinated when they see a foreigner. So like if somebody comes to you and asks for a selfie, just don't get offended. They just do that because they're very helpful and nice to you, and they're so amazing that if they're eating something down the road, they'll be like, hey guys, you can come on and eat with us. They're so nice. They're really cute kind of people who can help you with anything and everything. Although the poverty rate is really high over there, so you need to be really careful about robberies, which I talked about. So this is the people. Let's talk about religions which are followed in that country. So I saw a lot of pagodas. Pagodas are the place, like for the Buddhist people, the monks, pagodas are the places. So there are a lot of pagodas all around the city. And other than that, people also follow Christianity a lot over there. But the majorly followed religion in Vietnam, which I have observed personally, is Buddhism. And they believe in peace and maintaining everything. But if you talk about their history, like if you go to an old Vietnamese person, like who's really old and who has been through the hardships of the Vietnam-Chinese war, so they will really do not entertain that part of you mentioning about somebody in favor of something in favor of China, or if you're a Chinese, they will be little offended of you being Chinese and something like that. But then that's completely amazing. Like it's cool when it comes to normal people who are in the routine, because there is a place especially in Vietnam where Chinese people, like Chinese daughters get married to Vietnamese son get married to Chinese daughter. So the cultural mix is really nice. The war conditions do not affect the peace level of that country. Can you imagine how open and culturally acceptable they are when it comes to things like this? Even though they were in a war condition with them, they really just accept the culture everywhere. So Vietnamese people are amazing. So it is a good country for you to visit, but do take care of your medical conditions, because sometimes the street food may cause you some issues. So if you're allergic to something, just do carry everything first hand. And this is all about Vietnam so far, and there's a lot which I cannot just sum up in a few minutes. let's talk about my project. So like my faculty members, like my colleagues which I found there, since I'm a student, I'm 19, so like I need a lot of experience when it comes to all this. So my colleagues were really amazing, like they were so generous and helpful in everything. I sprained my ankle in between and they helped me with every vegetarian cookie they could find in the market. And I was working with the accountancy department, and I was supposed to teach English to the accountancy department children. So basically that was the thing, and the faculties were all time very supportive. They're very punctual, like they're very very critical about you being on time. If you're not on time, you will be scolded, and that is the Vietnamese culture. Be on time, no matter what you do, just be punctual. So of course, whenever we go on in student cultural exchanges, and when we go for an internship like this, we learn a lot about ourselves too. So like these 45 days gave me the chance to understand a lot about my own self, like what were my pros and cons of the personality, and where I need to work upon, and what all factors which I need to improve on. And it contributed to a lot to me as an individual, to be very honest. I'm not bragging or something, but it is important for you to grow in your student life. Like your college is the time period when you really grow. So this exchange programs really help you grow. It helps you identify your own strengths, because surviving in an unknown country all on your own, saving your money, living the survival game over there is not an easy task. So if you ever get a chance, just do visit one of the cultural exchanges. Do not miss these golden opportunities which are provided by the universities or organizations like ISEC. They're really amazing. You can find projects all over the world and you can serve them. This is the best part. So yes guys, do not miss it. If you have student exchange